Hello, everyone. How's it going? We are back for another live stream, and I guess this is going to be an exciting one because you might have already seen the new boss, but that's something we'll be talking about with some other changes that are coming to 6.0 in the update. Yes. And Dennis is here with me.
Hi.
And we're just going to recap first a little bit about the weapons of last time. And I already have the video open, so you just need to switch to it.
So basically, update 6.0 part 2. Today we're going to talk about most of the things that we have. Where is it?
This is the video.
This is the video.
It's confusing, but yeah.
So basically, just recap a little bit. I think like so far what we have shown in the first stream was primarily the changes to the player, like the mechanics like poison, etc. But also we had a couple of new items, new equipment. So. Let's quickly have a look at that stuff. So, see if it works.
Yep. There we go. What is that? The bomb lance?
Yeah.
I love that weapon. It is. People already seen it yesterday. It's very strong. It's definitely a boss weapon, but it also does a lot of damage on AI in general. Yeah,
and we have the Lebel rifle. It's like a new bolt action rifle, 10 rounds capacity, long bullets. We have a new revolver, Lamart Mark II, and that one actually comes with both 9 compact bullets in the drum and a single shotgun shell in the center.
Yep, and how do you switch them?
With the X button.
Yeah.
So then we have a new tool, which is the alert trip mine. So this one can be placed. You get like a pack of 3 of them.
And you hear like a wee fireworks going off. It's a good trap.
And then we have like the little cousin of them. It's a concertina trip mine. There's only 1 in a pack, and that has a mini concertina bomb effect. And then we have something new here we haven't shown before. You might have seen it yesterday in the streams. We have an ammo box now. So this is a consumable. It allows you to both refill the extra ammunition of a weapon, but also it includes the special ammunition type. So this is now a way for you to like basically always have some ammunition supply with you, and you can even refill your crossbows. You can even refill the bomb lance with it, and like special ammunition like shot shells and like the other nice ammunition types we have in the game.
Yeah.
This goes along with the change that we've done for the special ammo packs, like the purple ones you can find in the world, and those also now resupply.
And it is a 2 resupply, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So both you and your partner can resupply once from it, and it gives you a little bit more ammunition in your normal box.
So does it also? Oh no, that's with the loot of launchers, not mine. It was like with the traits. I was like, oh yeah, we got new traits as well. So we got 3 new traits. We got the ghoul, we got the adrenaline, and we got the vulture. Vulture. Yeah.
So those are all based around basically looting players and what you get from it. So with Ghoul you can replenish some health on a successful loot. With Vulture you can make sure that even if some people have already looted a corpse, you can always get another loop. Like so it breaks the rule of 2 we normally have. So you can always get this extra one.
Yeah.
And with Adrenaline, which is now something which we have updated a little bit compared to last tester, where there were some issues with it. Actually allows you that while you're in critical health to instantly start regenerating your stamina. So that means you might have that stamina for doing that one more heavy attack, or just like fighting off that group of grunts that otherwise would have downed you likely.
And we also did a change to the way the flash bomb works, which I actually noticed yesterday because I got flashed and I was like blind for a solid like half year at least.
So we have like basically a change that with the flash bomb you can throw it at someone. If you get a hit blip, like the crosshair blinks for a second, you know that you've made a full flash. That means that guy is out for 5 to 6 seconds on like a whiteout effect. So you can press the attack. You can charge in there.
I literally couldn't do anything. I was just stuck forever. Like
I watched some streamers yesterday who were trying to do that and actually got melee in the process. So they weren't so defenseless after all.
Well, I was in the corner and I was like, okay, I'm not sure if I'm in the cover still because, like, I mean, I didn't see anything, and I was just like, okay, at least if I don't get killed.
So yeah, that's basically where it comes to the new items, new equipment. I'm gonna show a little bit more about that ammo box, I would say, right?
Yeah, because we didn't show it last time. Oh wait.
Yeah, it's right there. We go. Okay, so as you can see, it's basically a wooden box and has ammo in it, so nothing really too spectacular. But we do have a little video that shows you just how that works. See if it works.
Yeah, it's probably like alt tab because it's in.
There we go. So let's just go to the beginning. All right. So you equip it like a consumable. It's consumed in the process. So if you place it in the vault, you need to buy a new one afterwards, and then both you and your partner can use the refill once. You can see in the top left corner there, it refills like my poison crossbow bolts as well.
Oh,
just got 6 out of the box. And then obviously for the partner, you can go there as well. And in this case, once that's done, like it's empty completely, obviously, and yeah, you both can continue. So you can bring them into, let's say, a boss arena if you want to defend, or it makes you a bit more independent. Like you can use some of the more exclusive like ammunition kits, like going with crossbows or nitro bomb lands, and actually bring some ammunition for contingency. So if you don't want to just rely on the packs.
Especially good if you take the bomb lance. Yeah, the bomb lance is great. Everyone should buy it. I mean, I honestly found my new favorite weapon. Like that is. All right. Super fun.
So something we talked about last week already for the stream, so there's no changes to that, but one thing we promised you guys, which is showing you a little bit more the graphs for the damage evolution. So we have one little thing prepared here. So basically what it shows is in blue, the shotgun in 5.0. As you can see on the bottom, it shows you the distance in meters. So 5, 10, 20, and it goes up to 40 meters, which is the maximum range for the regular shotguns. And it shows the damage multiplier on the left. This is like how the damage loses its potency, its power as the shot travels. So in 5.0, as you can see, it goes to 15 meters at 0.4. And then it kind of like winds on a little bit until eventually it reaches 0 in 40 meters distance. And in orange, this is the changes for 6.0. You can see like the damage drop off is a little bit more aggressive in the beginning. So it like goes down to 0.35 and does it already like a few meters earlier for a regular shotgun. And it does one thing, however, differently. It actually keeps the damage a little longer before it drops out towards the end, which means it doesn't give you like only like 2, 3, 4 hit points at the very end. Actually, it might give you like still 10, 15, so you can be in a fight, but it's way in like too little to actually do like headshot damage, etc. For comparison, you see the hand cannons. That's the evolution for those, and that hasn't changed. Keep in mind that besides these changes here for how the damage evolution works, and I guess you guys had already had a good chance of trying those out on the server in the last week. And during the event yesterday, for some of the streamers, that basically it still feels pretty close to what it used to. It's just for the normal shotguns a little bit adjusted. Yeah. So that's basically as far as we wanted to tune it.
And I mean, I expect everyone to run around with a bomb lance anyway.
Yeah, so what you can see is up close shotguns are still as lethal, with the regular ones being a little bit less on the range side. But overall, the shotguns are close range weapons as opposed to being close range, like the powerful choice that is, and we're going to keep it with that.
Okay.
Awesome.
That means we're going to look at some level changes for STILLWATER BAYOU, because last time we looked at the Lost and Delta level changes, but we also have a bunch of level changes for BAYOU, so okay. I
mean, some of you guys have probably already explored the places quite a bit, right?
Exactly.
Like and seen it. So this is Alice Farm, as you can see, like very familiar place. Now, what has changed? There's additional connections being added, so you can see this little walkway. So
they were not dead; they moved. How?
Just repositioned in the refurbishing place. So basically, what the purpose of this is that like it allows people to just move around the area a little bit more, like get to places easier, have different alternatives, different paths. Or we can see with additional changes, this is again still the same place inside Alice Farm. You see a couple of like hay places being like haystacks being added. So technically, from the door on the left side, you could kind of walk over the hay across the door and then go into the window to the side. So it just opens up a bit more mobility. It puts and challenges some of the previous blocker areas we had, where it was very hard to overcome people inside the barn up there. There's different ways to getting inside, like with a ramp from the last screenshot, you can go into the right side of the barn, then use that roof to kind of cut over without having to use the ladder, for example.
Yeah.
And then this is inside that building. Actually, you can see there's a bit more space opened up, so you can actually have like fights between the two rooftops, like basically people on the roof being attacked, as well as just shooting from inside. From one to the inside of the other. Yeah, so this is the outside of the Blanchard Graves area. Yep. So what you can see here, this is the basically the riverside wall fortification. So this is how it looked before, and now this has been a bit restructured. So you see like a nice staircase. You can already see on the left side the door, and that's the door that leads to the inner area. And we will see that in one of the next ones, that this has actually been changed. It used to be this heavy metal door. That metal door is now in a different place inside that compound, and this one is actually turned into like a regular door. So breaking things up a little bit and just making that space a bit easier to like attack, but also a bit more reliable to defend. So this is a different angle from the same thing here. This is how it looks on live at the moment, and this is how it's on the test server. You can see in the center the staircase kind of moving up down there. So just overall like navigation, pathfinding, it's just a little bit easier. You feel like walking around this area a bit more natural as a new player. Obviously, all the veterans know it inside out, but put yourself in the head of when you first approach these areas, and it was always a bit like, wait, okay, where does this go? Like, is this like a doorway? Is this a dead end? Everything is a bit clearer right now. And this is again from the water side. This is how it looks right now, and this is with the changes. So like the whole scaffolding feather has moved a little bit inside there. Then that's the inside. So here is your good old metal door, and now being rechanged, you see on the left side it kind of opened up a little bit for the first screenshot we saw, and then here you see the door now leading to the inner area.
Yeah.
So, but it's not the only changes for Graves. Actually, Graves received quite a number of changes, and I mean, this is the layout as we know it. There's one significant change, and this is now we've kind of separated the inner and the outer area a little bit more. So there is going to be a harder cut between the actual family graves on the far right, the roundel thingy, right, and the actual like old derelict church like ruin. So now this has been separated a lot more with like nicer like walls. It means you don't have like this fight of potentially like 60, 70, 80 meters distance where you just don't know where the guy is. Like it kind of segments the whole area a little bit nicer and just makes the firefights much more interesting.
Yeah.
It feels a little bit like the Whitechapel area, like having clear boundaries.
I was about to say, with the fence as well.
And then this is a different angle from the same thing. So this is the open, exposed look as it is on live. And then here with the additional like walls. Stone wall being like thrown in there, kind of separates the whole thing. It's a bit more choke point, so it's much easier, for example, to use like some of the new traps we have, like alert traps, etc., and then use that exactly. Yeah. And actually, there's one thing you can also see on the screenshot. Just going back there for a second. If I move between the two, there's this one thing you can see at the staircase at the side of the bridge. We've added a little generator there.
Ah, yeah, for the
so that means there's going to be some electricity in this compound, or you can use that in like it can do for the other compounds, basically, like lights, etc. Then let's go to Alan and Fish and Alan and Sons Fish compound.
I see someone already best level changes are on Alan. So
Alan has changed quite drastically, but for the better. It's really nice now. So as you know, like you kind of had this outer ring around the inner area of the fish farm, and it was mostly with the hills, kind of separating it and having like some roads in between it or the ramp here up to the building. Now this place has been opened up a little bit more, so we've kind of like cut down on the hills and just added more paths. Actually, like took away some of the water, so it's much easier to traverse the place.
Like less water.
Yep, absolutely.
It's always cumbersome. It's like
so it's easier and just like move around, having nice fights. Like you can see, there is a connection between the generator building, that's the red one in the background, and the white building in the foreground, which before wasn't really connected. You had to go into the water and back up there, so fights between them was always a bit awkward.
Yeah.
So now you can kind of press the attack here, push around, and just overall move around on the higher level throughout the compound much easier. So this is the same compound, just a different angle. Now this time looking east. This is the north side of the building, how it looks at the moment. And again here with the changes, you can see like some of the
forward almost,
exactly. And you might still encounter the meter patrolling and that thing, but it's much clearer now. You don't have the leeches in the water and all of these things.
Yeah,
right? It feels easier to manage and move around and flank and do all the things you do.
Well, apparently everyone is really liking it, so that's good. Good on the level team.
Then different angle here, a little bit more from the north. So again, water is receded a little bit more open. Nice. You can use it to move around the space quite nicely. And then this is from the south side, same compound, where again some minor changes. I'm going to toggle between them a little bit. So the trees have been repositioned. You can see
the building changed in the back.
Exactly in the back, and specifically it's very hard to see on this one. But if you take a look at the red building in the far distance, you see where there used to be a little hill to the right of it. Now there's a little wooden fence, so that gives you an option to kind of move across a little bit better.
Yeah.
So just places have been receiving some small beautification, but also like optimizations when it comes to pathing and tactical options.
Yeah.
And this is the northwestern corner. So if you approach from any of the corner spawns, usually that's what you see. And here again, that first white building has been redesigned slightly, so there's like a door option now. You have a bit of an angle on the roof, so you can use it better, like kind of peek over and get up safely. And it just opens again more options for you. And obviously, since there can be a clue in a particular building, there's different ways of getting there, and maybe just quickly touching a compound and then picking it up and making your way out again without being necessarily drawn into a fight. Then we see lock bay docks here.
Lock
docks into smoking barrels. And what we see here is the east side of it, I think.
Yeah, it's like a few the water's left.
Yeah, a bit like the northeast, I guess. So it's like the big boss building on the right side. So here, smaller things where you kind of open up the space a little bit more. So you can kind of shoot inside, can peek a little bit more.
It was always very like closed off in general.
Yeah, so this is how it looked, and this is now what's happened to it. So just like being able to peek into this combat a little bit. Yes, then the next thing we're going to talk about is the player onboarding. So this is something that we're still working on for 6.0. This is mostly interesting for new players, obviously, but we want to give new players a bit more better understanding, easier learning of what's going on in the game. So we've added like a layer. This is kind of linked to the training mode that we have already in the game with a couple of notifications. Like the first time you open up a specific menu, like it tells a little bit about what's going on in that menu, just to ease you into the game. So this is mostly in preparation, just obviously for new players. Veterans wouldn't really be exposed to that, but also there will be like an option checkbox so they can kind of enable it, disable it, etc. So this is something that's going to be very interesting, and I'm going to talk about that, I guess, a little bit more once we have that, but it's at the moment still planned for our 6.0 update. All right, then what else do we have?
We get the Book of Monsters.
The Book of Monsters.
Yeah, so a lot of people have been asking for lore for quite some time because we haven't shown that much lore. Like we had some videos and stuff, but now we have something really cool. Now, by killing things in game, you can unlock more information and more lore about the monsters that you're fighting. So we have a video.
Let's see if we can find it.
Yeah.
No, that's not the right video.
Oh no, what is this video?
Oh my god, that's another video. That's a video we talk about in a second.
Oh no.
So I guess we can mix this one up then. Let's try this one. There's only so many videos left, right?
Yeah. Let's look at the,
that looks
more like it.
I mean, maybe we hit that book in the barn somewhere, but I don't think so.
There's a book on the floor.
Alright, so what we have now is, if you go to the library, you can see like the new like Liber Monstrorum, our Book of Monsters.
Yeah.
And what you can see in there is like you see all the enemies, they're kind of sorted, whether they're targets, where they're like base enemies or infected, where they're marked, which are kind of special enemies, or whether they are packs.
Yeah, so like if you kill one, you unlock the first bit of lore, and then you can see on the left, I don't know if you can see, like here, you can see next time you have to kill them 5 times to unlock the next level.
Exactly,
of lore
so you kind of
range.
progress through this. There's a couple of challenges linked to it, similar to the challenges we have in the game already for daily and weekly challenges, and then that way you can kind of progress through, you can master this, have like these mastery unlocks, and learn a bit more. And there's like a lot of overlap between the stories, like really nice stuff in there. So I think some people will really, really appreciate just diving a little bit deeper into the universe.
Definitely. I mean, if you can see, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
They've been writing a bunch of stuff.
So all the enemies in there, including obviously our new boss DSS.
I'm very curious when the first person comes that unlocks all the lore. I mean, I'm pretty sure it might be, again, someone like Failspawner who was first, but I don't know.
So then the next thing for us to talk about would be, because I mean, kind of it's fitting talking about monsters right now, is to actually talk about the boss, or rather the bosses, because there's also some changes to the butcher we talked about last time already. And for this, we're going to do a quick break, and then Rob is going to be on screen, and he's going to explain a little bit more what we did to the bosses, and then we're going to do a combined Q&A at the end.
Yeah, exactly. So, is Rob near?
I think he should be coming any second. Let's just go to the break screen for a second.
Okay. We go to the break screen for a second.
Yay.
Bye, guys. Hello, we are back again, and we have here Rob.
Hello.
You might have seen him maybe one stream in the past.
Yeah, I think I did some gameplay as well in the past. But
yeah, that was, I remember that your mouse didn't work, or like your mouse didn't work.
I am a god.
But introduce yourself. What do you do?
Yeah, so hey, I'm Rob. I'm a technical designer on Hunt Showdown, so I work with AI, weapons, player features, this sort of thing. There's a lot of stuff that we've got our hands on, but this time it was the boss.
Yeah, and first we're going to talk a little bit about the Butcher reworks, because before we go into the Assassin, the Butcher has gotten some changes.
Yes.
So let's look at the video, because we have a little video for that.
Nice. There he is. Yeah, no, I was just waiting for him to come back. Okay. So you can see now there's a lot of damage done quite fast, and you can see instead of him now taking a knee, he's coming straight at you. So we wanted to make him a bit more reactionary than, obviously, you do a lot of damage and then he suffers even more because of it. So there was like two main things that we wanted to do with the Butcher, was sort of help the exploitability of the guy, and I think we've done a pretty decent job so far. And then the other issue that he had was the fact that you had no...
on the knee as well.
Yeah, and you would never be able to actually do anything in his arena because he was moving basically faster than you could backpedal. So what we tried to do is slow him down a little bit, but obviously make him react to the amount of damage that you could actually do to him. And we think this is a bit more engaging than it was.
Nice. I'm very curious if anyone already tried it during the test server, and I mean, I'm very curious what you guys think. If you haven't tried it yet on the test server, when this goes on test later.
Yes. So we didn't manage to talk about it in the previous stream, right?
No, we want to leave the boss for later.
Bosses and bosses again. But yes, Dennis did a fairly decent job here. Obviously, we're not finished yet. We want to do more, but obviously we want to release this, get the feedback from you guys, and then see where we can take it from there. Yes. Also on the Spider, we did some stuff for the 5.0.
Yeah,
so
the locomotion changes.
We made him a little bit slower and also a little bit more aggressive, but we want to do more for the future, so he's not all super. Yes. So yeah, give us all your feedback on this, and then we'll try and do some more.
New Butcher's no joke. I'm very curious. I really hope that it's more of a challenge. People are always like, oh yeah, we can just kill the boss like this, but it would be cool if we can,
So we make it more of a choice than, hey, this one's easier, so
exactly.
We want to bring them all up to the same level.
Okay, but then, without further ado, not that. Oh. Dun dun dun!
Us in, yes.
Our new boss.
So, new boss.
Something you guys have been asking for a long while.
Yes.
It's not a werewolf, as you can see. I'm very happy that a lot of people are happy that it isn't. But yeah, some of you already seen it, maybe during the article that we had on PC Gamer or during the live streams that were yesterday. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, hopefully soon for yourself. But yeah.
Yeah. So basically, we'll just go over the process.
Yeah, so we got some images. Do you want to already talk something
about
it? No,
let's see the first one. So basically, this was the first thing we had. So one of the concept artists, Artem, built this concept quite a while ago for the old version of Hunt. And then obviously a lot of things developed over time and Hunt changed quite a lot. And then once we actually started building a new boss, we came back to this guy because he obviously looks awesome. I mean, this concept art is
it's super
cool.
sick. Because I've seen it really early on when I worked here already, and it was like, oh my god, this looks so good.
So I mean, there was pictures on the walls, and it's like, yo, who's this guy?
Right?
So then it was more of a case of hey, how can we bring this into the current version of Hunt? And then we started developing from there. So the first thing we did, we can just stay on this one. It's fine. Okay.
Yeah, we can do it.
In fact, yeah. So this one is a good example because the first thing we wanted to try out was, hey, does the movement work in this first-person game? Does it work in Hunt? So we took the Spider, basically, stripped a lot of its logic out and just put the Grunt's mesh on it. And then we started using Grunt animations. He was, running up the walls. It looked hilarious. And then we started trying out saying, hey, instead of him moving on his legs, let's turn him into a giant ball on the ground and then move him around. And then whenever he appears, he'll be the Grunt again. And then that's how we started out the process. Then we went on to seeing how big he should be. So we started...
Yeah, we got some images for that as well.
Yeah, exactly. So we started comparing him against the butcher, and we like seemed to think like, yes, a nice like thin guy who's quite tall, and then, you know, sort of hunches over. Super creepy. So it was kind of a case of, hey, how big is this guy going to be in these arenas? Is it too big? Is it too small? And then basically went from there. Same grunt, and then we developed this basically.
Yeah.
And then from then on, it was say like, hey, we don't like the spider's gameplay on top of this, so let's try and build something fresh. So we still wanted this sort of like hit and run style enemy. We wanted to use the boss compounds. So it was a case of like, hey, let's make something sneaky. So it was a good test ground for developing new bosses for Hunt, because the old bosses were obviously built quite a long time ago. And we wanted to see what sort of place they fit in now and how we can build new bosses and also bring up the other bosses up to like a good level. So then it was a case of how complex can we go with these behaviors. So
and how hard was this? Because it's obviously a lot of particles.
Yeah, so it was a nice mix of animation, what you could see on the actual character itself, and also the particles that came with the VFX. So he animates into particles, and his particles are all around his body, so it sort of like hides all of like smoke and mirrors kind of things. So it actually looks really cool. But yeah, for the sneaky behaviors, it was like, let's try out some baiting, some luring, like see if he can bring around corners and wait in like dark hiding spots. But because he does all of this himself dynamically, there's no like scripted events in these compounds, and there's so many compounds that he can use as well. It was all very hidden. So a lot of what happened, you just got hit by a guy who was trying to do all this stuff. So it was more like, how can we simplify this, but also keep him sort of like sneaky, creepy? What can he do? So that's when we started to speed him up a bit. So he started out as this idea of, hey, there's this really creepy, slow guy who hides in dark corners. And now it became really fast and aggressive, basically. And then when we were testing out some more stuff with this sneaky behavior, that's where the clones came in. So we had a bug where there was some particles left behind sometimes. So he would go around these corners, and then there'll be some particles on the floor. And then it's like, oh, what's this? And then he would attack you from behind. So it's like, totally intended, obviously, totally intended. So
this was our idea.
So then we tried to build actual behaviors based on this, and that's where the clones came in. So
it's actually funny because it reminds me of the bug that the bug that was leaving some particles behind for when someone was dead with the dark side boost.
Yeah.
So people actually thought that they could see dead bodies, and that was an intended feature. And now people are actually like, oh, we would like something like a feature.
Yeah, we have like a nice saying, it's a feature, not a bug. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we started prototyping some clones. Like, how can we actually bring these clones into it? So the idea of, hey, this boss splits up is actually kind of cool. It's kind of unique, and we don't have anything else like it in Hunt. So then we tried out, what can we do? Can we try and put out the boss with a bunch of clones, and then do we go find the right guy? So the first one was about spreading out across an entire compound. You know, you have to kill all of them to find the boss. That ended up being very cat and mouse. So it wasn't that fun. It was more annoying than anything else. Then we tried to sort of stick them together, so you would see them pop in. They would all go to the same place, but you wouldn't be able to see which one was which.
Yeah.
Then they pop up, you jump into the room, and then if you shoot the right one, you get the chance to apply damage. If you don't, then you get attacked by 3 of them. So that was more savage.
And it hit
more savage.
super hard. Like, I was nothing I could do.
Yes. And when there's 3 of them coming at you, that was a one-hit wipe, I think.
Yep.
So then it was more like, could we turn them into a bit less aggressive? Can we do something else with the clones? And then this bug effect on the screen came in. So I'm not sure how many streamers saw it yesterday, but
I think we have some reactions later from yesterday, nice. And there were some that definitely had the effect. Hi, Nixon.
Yeah, so when the clone attacks you, instead of it like taking all of your health away, it'll apply a little bit of damage, but it will cover your face in bugs. So
yeah.
You can't really see much what's going on, and then the assassin tries to use this opportunity to come around you and attack you at a different angle. Obviously you can still stop him, but it's a lot harder because you can't see anything basically. But then so with this in mind, they became less aggressive, and then we tried to do something like, you know, you have like this game that you can play at like carnivals where you have like 3 cups, one has a ball in the middle, which one's the right one? And then we started doing this shuffling thing, but it still had the same effect. It was quite boring, and like the clones didn't really have a place. So then the next step after that was making them more like decoys. So it was sort of an attack for the boss. So instead of them trying
like
to
mirror image.
Yeah, exactly. So they will sort of like back up the boss. The boss sort of panics, his frenzy mode, as you saw with the butcher, and now they sort of try and help the boss. But if you deal with them, fair enough, it's quite easy to do it. But if you mess up, you don't land those shots. Yeah. You'll get hit in the face, and then the boss is going to try and come at you from different angles. And then that's sort of like where it's settled. So the boss will try and stick with you. You do enough damage to it quite quickly. He will then panic, spawn his clones, his decoys. They'll come at you, and then this sort of engagement is back and forth. So hopefully the assassin becomes hit and run, but more of a dictator of the fight than the player.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very curious how you guys will play with them with Dusk, because obviously we saw some people yet, but not everyone. So.
Yes, unfortunately.
So yeah, let's just look a little bit about the pictures.
So character art had this predicament for quite a while. It's like, do we give him a coat, do we not? Because he looks cool without it anyway, and I know there's a lot of debates. And then we ended up settling on the jacket. I think he looks cool either way.
I mean, styling, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
He's ready for a party.
And yeah, so it didn't matter too much to the Bugs one when he moves, because he hides himself in the Bugs one, so it actually turned out quite well.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, he looks like he has a rough time, especially his face.
Yes. Speaking of rough times, there was another bug that we had that was quite funny actually. When he would die in crazy poses.
Oh yeah, I remember that. It was just like...
And Chris, the character artist that sculpted this guy, did a good job at the detailing down below. And so in some of his poses, he's shown a bit too much of himself, even with the jacket. So
he's a bit forthcoming.
Yes. So there was some slight adjustments before we released it to the guys.
That code all got a weird different meaning.
Oh yeah.
Secretly, it was a trick. Let me see. So yeah, we also have some boss layers changes, or boss set dressing.
Yes, so the other two bosses do have their set dressing, if you guys notice. So the spider has his webs everywhere, and then the butcher also has fire, and like I think they have these pig corpses around. So we had to get something really cool for the assassin. We had to make the arenas sort of look a bit more spooky, like give him an opportunity to sort of catch up to you.
Yeah.
And this is what the environment artists and level designers did. I think they did a really good job as well. And you'll see that they have a lot of moving insects, a lot of like these husky structures. So it's not too different from the hives. So if you know, I think it's Blanchett Graves Church, you'll see like these big hive structures. It's sort of in the similar vein, like insect themes. These husky structures. Yeah. And then it sort of helps sort of hide him a bit. It's sort of, with the cloth as well, helps him sort of sneak up on you.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to see him.
So yeah, it looks really nice, I think.
Yeah.
And a lot.
It's like, this was a nice. Never.
Yeah, never. The assassin got here first.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think.
Yeah, those things always look. I don't know. It reminds me of those like. I don't know if it's always like fake, but you have like those images, and it's like I think it's called a lotus something with like those.
Oh, those little holes.
Yeah.
A lot of people have problems with this.
Yeah, apparently it's like if you get like a feeling that you can't look at it or something. Oh, so yeah, we have some reactions of people.
I like reactions. This is good.
Let's take a look at that. Some of that are not in English, but you can get the gist of it.
Fear is a universal language. Yeah. It's all good.
He's so big. Yeah, so he's going around because he found out that someone already thought of the died by it.
Whoa! Oh, he's coming. Yes. Yeah, so even though you don't see it here, running is a viable tactic. Obviously, you can't do much, but.
Oh no, you don't see your face.
Thank you for the hose. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh!
I have 2 videos of her because her reaction was great.
This is brilliant. Can you see?
Oh my god.
You good? I think here she gets the bugs, if I'm not mistaken.
I was too busy being freaked out still to notice.
So she's attacked by the clones.
But,
okay.
Oh, it was
he's coming. I can hear him.
Holy.
Oh.
Oh my god. Oh my
god. You're in front of her face.
I'm sorry.
Fuck this. What the fuck? Oh my god.
Her face is so funny.
Oh my god.
So I think the scary element's there, maybe?
Yeah, a little bit. I know someone was like, okay, we can do that. Someone was afraid that like, oh, but what about women? I'm like, nah, it's fine. I think men can be equally.
There you go. There's the bugs on the face. So you see, it won't last very long, but it gives the assassin enough time to try and get that angle right behind you.
Yeah, this was where Psychodos died.
Yeah, I saw this. This was funny.
I think we had to add it, you know, to see that some of them are not invincible.
This is going on the wiki page for the assassin.
Yeah.
How bosses should be built.
No!
A lot of F-bombs.
Yes. But that's good for me because I know I did something right here.
Yeah.
Right.
Get down.
Yes. So I think the intensity is there.
I told you.
I think it's quite creepy as well.
Yeah, you told me. I just realized.
Right.
I don't understand anything besides eat. That sounds like a thing that we all understand.
Yes,
right?
fear is a universal language for sure. Yeah.
Guy.
Then we got Mikey's first reaction.
Okay, here we go, guys. Is he
Yeah, no pressure.
Let me see him. Let me see him. Let me see him. Let me see him.
Let me see.
Where is he? Where? I want to see him. Let me kiss him.
Go in.
Oh, dude, what? Where is he?
This set
Yes.
He's down
dressing.
here. He's down.
Oh, he's in front of me. He's in front of me.
It works really well in really tight compound.
Yeah.
Good shot.
Yeah. Ah, and the last one. We have Nixa.
Yeah, good job though. So you'll see, like it is if you interrupt him like 2 times. That's
Yeah,
when he
he starts
decides.
cloning.
Yeah, he starts to panic and starts cloning himself. So that's the thing. It's like they're quite easy to deal with, but if you choose not to and you don't land those shots, they will get you.
Yeah.
His teammates out.
Oh, it's you and Mr. Nice. I'm the manliest. So yeah, quite a lot of good reactions.
Yes, then that's a good sign.
Let me just go to here.
Mhm.
While we just talk a little bit more.
Yes. So have you got any more pictures?
That were the pictures.
Pictures. Okay. So yeah, the main thing is like obviously the Assassin's now, you know, so we're gonna release it to you guys so you can play it. That doesn't mean we don't take on the feedback. So obviously we want to take all this feedback that you have, what you like, what you don't like, especially, and what can we do to sort of bring all of the bosses up to a sort of like benchmark.
Yeah.
We think that the Butcher's taking a good step towards this direction. The Spider's next, and obviously we want to keep improving them as time goes on. And anything that we see on the Assassin that we do or don't like, let's
Do the
fix
same
it.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. So it's an ongoing process.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're gonna do Q&A. We're just gonna set up. We'll be right back, and then you guys can ask questions related to the Assassin, maybe some of the new weapons, and then we will,
We'll get back to
we'll
it.
get to it.
Yep.
So give us a moment. We'll be back in a sec. And
Ciao for now.
See you in a bit. Coming on the way.
Hello.
Hello. Can you guys see the chat? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I can do whatever I want because I'm not on screen for me.
I mean, you are on screen.
No, I'm not, right?
Yes, you are.
Oh.
You're hidden there.
You're not an hour screen.
It's like
Well, yeah.
Let me see,
that's-
see? No, that is my hand. There we go, Steph.
I mean, you're behind the screen. Trust me. You just hit it. So yeah, we're gonna do some Q&A where we will answer some questions in relation to obviously 6.0 and mainly the boss. So if you have any assassin related questions, let me. It's Archie behind the sofa. Maybe this time he is again. Where's Dennis? Yeah, I see it. Nice joke there. Next up. Let me see. What questions do we have? When will the bomb and assassin will be on the test server?
Well, we're gonna talk about that, I think, towards the end of the stream.
Yeah, we might answer that question at the end of the stream. Where did you get the inspiration for the butcher and the spider? Did you have other bosses in mind before? I mean, it's not really assassin related, but maybe we can answer that one.
I mean, Rob is given a bit of an insight already. Basically, we originally went into this obviously with a core game, right? So most of our original boss designs were like kind of like more aimed at the co-op side of things, and leaving me now. Okay.
No, you can't see.
And so we took a lot of inspiration from like local like lore and legends, and tried to like come up with like a nice consistent theme. Mm-hmm. And so far, like the butcher and the spider and the assassin, they kind of share all like a little bit of that insect theme, that kind of like swampy and dirty, just like nasty feeling of being like in just like a bug infested area.
Yeah, so it's like mixed in with some mutation.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So there's pieces of people inside.
There's pieces of people inside them, yes.
Yes. Let me see. No, the healing bug is actually fixed. Yeah. We already fixed that, but we didn't have it for the patch yesterday.
Yes.
So, will the assassin be on the Xbox game preview?
Something I cannot talk about right now, but so from our looks at the moment, there will be a bit more coverage about the Xbox stuff coming in the next days.
We'll do a specific like stream for that as well.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Will there be 3 bosses on a single map? Not anytime soon.
Now, something we talked about in the last stream is basically we feel that with 2 bosses at the same time, the place is gonna get crowded.
Yeah.
Right? So having like missions where there would be like 3 targets, technically doable. From a design side, we think this wouldn't be a good idea. So we would like to just keep a bit of also for the random missions, a bit of a surprise which one it is.
Yeah.
So
okay.
1 or 2 targets.
So someone asked, how long have you been playing with the idea of the assassin? So the assassin, we already said, has been in the works or the idea for a long while, but how long exactly, do you know?
So I'd say we can speak in years now, I guess.
Yeah.
So like the previous version of Hunt had this as a concept, but obviously once everything started to shift a lot, we sort of put that on the sidelines, and then we carried on with other stuff. Yeah. And then we brought it back up was it like the middle of last year sometime?
Yeah, around the time.
And then once we started to build new bosses, we said this will be the one that we should make first.
I have to scroll.
Yeah.
I can't scroll. It's not how to scroll like that.
I was like, where's all the questions?
Yeah, it's because I
so basically for the development time of it, one thing which is also obviously interesting to talk about is early access. And early access specifically community driven like we do, which means responding to community feedback, responding to ideas, etc. So there's always going to be a certain amount of our allocated possible time that we're going to want to use as a wildcard and hold back so we can respond to people. Like we can see how the meta evolves, we can do balancing, we can introduce game modes, we can introduce additional things, and obviously that makes it hard to kind of work on something like a big item like a boss for a continuous time without on and off. So sometimes you iterate, you try to solve a couple of points, and you kind of park it for maybe another week because it's important to maybe deliver another feature quickly because it's just important for that other update. Yeah. So it's a to and fro. It's a very dynamic process, and actually something which can be obviously for us as developers sometimes frustrating, but also is very rewarding because we get that instant feedback once something goes out.
Okay. Yeah. How many portable boxes could... I lost the question again. Can somebody repeat those questions that I linked to the chat, please?
I think it was about the ammo boxes.
How many ammo boxes you can carry? So they're basically consumables, which means for every consumable slot you can have 1.
Oh yeah, portable. Yeah.
So you could technically stack up to 4 if you want, but I mean that comes at the expense of vitality shots, fire bombs, dynamite, whatever else you want to bring.
Let me see.
I saw a question about the assassin and concertina wire. So when he's in his bug form, he doesn't affect it at all. He's just bugs. It wouldn't make a difference. And then when he actually appears, he's physical. That's when you will get damaged by it.
Yep.
Yeah. Does the assassin make a special sound you can hear outside the lair like the butcher and the spider? Yes, it does. What was some of the inspiration of the assassin art-wise? What do you think added the most to the horror factor? Well, I think the bugs.
Yeah.
I definitely think the bugs. Like usually when people talk about like fears, bugs. I mean, I personally am not afraid of bugs, but like I know often hear bugs is like a thing that they're scared of.
Yeah, it's one of those sort of fear factor things. There's also like the cloak and dagger element of it. Like, hey, this guy's quite creepy. He hides in these dark corners.
He doesn't run. Yeah.
And I know that Artem mentioned quite a bit more in the blog as well. So there's a bit more
definitely read
information
that.
there.
We released the blog, I think.
I think it was yesterday.
Yeah. So definitely read that. I also saw a question: does the assassin have a weakness?
Yes, he is allergic to poison.
Yeah. Bug spray.
I want to say we should have not said it, but like.
But it's on his contract.
Then
I already saw. I thought we were going to
answer
keep it
the
secret
question.
to find it out themselves. But...
Yeah, so get the bug spray.
You could have just said, yes, but what that is, you can find.
But also there's two parts to it, right? There is a weakness in terms of like what actually like he is vulnerable or resistant against, be that fire, poison, etc., that type of stuff. And also then there is the physical weakness, like the weak spot of some sort. So here again, there are certain parts of him which are a bit more exposed, and obviously they do a bit more damage, just like on the other bosses as well.
Yeah.
And the Book of Monsters helps with this sort of information.
Yes, so read the lore, like become a trained, well-educated hunter of the American Hunter Association, and then you will prevail.
Yeah, gameplay to get gameplay. Right?
Yeah. So a quick question: will the graphics level be back before nerf? The graphics levels never change. What we did do is when you start the game, automatically it is set to low when you haven't launched it in a while. Since we changed that, make sure you just put everything back on high, and it's the exact same thing as before.
Yes.
Will Hive Bomb attack the assassin?
No, the Hive Bomb only attacks silver players.
Yeah.
At least.
There you go.
So it's consistent with how it works against all the other AI.
Yeah. Do you have plans in the future for a boss type monster or AI that is not restricted to a lair? I mean, you mean a boss type because the other ones are technically not restricted to a lair.
It's basically the discussion about the roaming boss. So we talked about it in some of the previous streams. Roaming bosses are difficult because the moment they roam, they're not inside an arena, which means we cannot guarantee you will have a good fight once the boss fight is over.
Yeah.
Right, so we are relying on the arenas as strong points that you can defend, so you can attack. There's gameplay. Level designers spend a lot of time and care to actually like craft these arenas, not only for the fights themselves, but also for obviously what comes after the fight, the actual showdown with the players. So a roaming boss always kind of has the risk of maybe dying in the middle of a swamp or at some place that is very, very exposed. It just makes it very frustrating because you can't really secure it.
Yeah, and it was like we were saying, the assassin was a good testing ground to see how complex we could go with it, and then obviously moving forward we have a pipeline in place now, so it'll be faster iterations, and then we can see where we can go with it from there.
Yeah. How does the time to kill compare to the other bosses?
It should be relatively similar. So what we saw yesterday was a lot of people carrying these boss killing bomb lances. So
Yes.
Cool, what a coincidence.
Yes, right? So we'll have to see how it plays out with other loadouts, but yeah, however we've been playing it, it's been roughly the same.
Let's see. I brought against Bernie's. Let me see. I wanted to answer questions about the boss or 6.0 preferably. So I know a lot of people are asking about a lot of other things, but we're not sharing that yet.
Yes. So there was one about the design of the assassin using bleeding from the get-go. Yes, it kind of helped with the concept that we had. It made sense. This guy has blades. Like, he does bleeding. Bleeding is the only boss that we don't have right now.
Yeah.
However, we move forward, we'll see.
Okay. Can you retrieve ammo boxes from dead hunters that are carrying them?
You cannot retrieve them because at the moment you can only retrieve the main weapons they carry, so they're the only ones that drop down. What happens systemically is if you used a box before, like as a consumable yourself, you might have a chance to get it back.
Yeah.
I mean, that can happen. Just like you can get back your vitality shots or bombs. If someone else carried it, you will not be able to pick it up. What you can do, however, is like if, for example, let's say a solo player brought one in and you put the box down, he used his charge. As you remember, there's always two charges in. If you find one of those boxes and there's still something left, you can use it.
Gotcha. Let's see. Is it possible? No, wait, what am I reading? Have you considered making the bosses unknown until you find their room?
Having what?
Having the bosses unknown until you find their room.
Oh, okay. Yes, and we discarded it earlier. So what we wanted is that people have a more of a choice to decide in which area of the map we want to go. So in case it's, for example, a 2-target mission, you can say, oh look, boss number 1 is on the top left corner. It's like 25% of the map, so it's a smaller target, has less deal. And look, it's the assassin. And then compared to, let's say, 75% of the remaining map, which could be the butcher. Yes. So I can make a choice in the beginning, and I can go for the one I feel is the most interesting for me to fight, but also the one I feel like I'm the best well prepared to equip, like to fight against. So keeping that secret, yes, you could do that, but it's for the same reason we decided to always show you the supply points. It adds like a strategic element for the bounty hunt mode. Compared to, for example, quick play, where we intentionally chose to hide the supply points, because in this case, the element of surprise is actually desired. Yes.
Yeah, no, with 2 max boss contracts. So I saw someone asking that people are like thinking that the name Assassin is not right. And if we have consideration of like reading through the feedback when people save the name and change it potentially.
A name change, probably not, but obviously we want the feedback to say like, hey, can we make him more like an assassin with what we have? Like, yes, that is something we would like to do. That was the basis of what we did. Obviously it went through a long like development process, so it became less sneaky and more aggressive, but we still tried to keep this sneaky element on top, which is why it kept its name.
Well, see, I think that's a good answer. Kill the assassin with a knife.
You
oh my god, just a thought, what a golden...
Yes, I mean, you can go nuts. I mean, like 2 knives versus 1 knife, I don't know what I would pick, but yes. The assassin, so the assassin burns very quickly, so he stays on fire for about 2 seconds. So you want to sort of keep him in fire, maybe.
So with burn quickly means like it goes out also very quickly. Yes. So he's not as vulnerable, for example, as the spider is.
Let's see. Can the assassin step on bear traps?
When he's physical, yes.
Yeah. Can you carry the lance and the medium up if you have quartermaster? Yes, right?
Yes.
Yes, you can.
The lance is just a large slot weapon.
Yeah, so it would be like
for let's say a shotgun or a rifle.
Yeah.
Yes, so if you stick the assassin with something and he then disappears before it does its thing, it will drop. Yes.
Okay, so well done, Rob. Any chance there will be more variants to normal AI movement? Most AI at this point move and respond very predictable. I know to pause when shooting close zombies to let them swing. It would be nice to not have that level of comfort.
Yes, we want to do more AI improvements. We're still discussing what we want to do, and then hopefully we can talk about what we want to do.
Yeah, because we already said we're going to work on the spider still, as we have given the butcher some attention.
Yeah, it's also the other AI as well, and the water devil will also be improved. Don't worry.
Couple of things in the pipeline.
Yeah. You hear that, guys? What enough improvements? Does the assassin fear prestige 50s? I mean, I don't know.
The assassin fears nothing. Except the bomb lance.
Yeah, nothing.
That very much though.
Have you got something in mind for the secondary fire mode of the lantern?
The secondary fire mode lantern. So at the moment we basically introduced with 6.0 this new fire mode toggle button. Right? So you press X by default, and on specific equipment there's now like this does like an alternative action. So at the moment we have 2 items with 6.0 that are affected by it. So on one hand that's the Lamat revolver, new gun, which can toggle between the bullet mode and the shotgun shell. Like it has like a second barrel with a single shotgun shell in there. And because we thought it's kind of weird to just like introduce a new button and then only have one weapon in the game that can actually use the button, we thought of like a generic item that everybody comes across, the lantern, and wanted to just enable something there. What we did for this is we gave you a chance to turn it off. So if you press the X button, you just kind of like dose the light, and that allows you to just move around, obviously without having a big like light shining around you. So if you want to just get across with a lantern, like let's say to a specific cross you want to burn, or like to blow something up, whatever, you can do that without exposing yourself as you have to do right now. And obviously what you can also do is that if you throw a lantern that is switched off, you can throw it, then you can pick it up from the location because it doesn't really shatter and burn. But apart from that, there isn't really much we do. So it gives you a chance to move around with a lantern for a longer time without necessarily feeling totally exposed.
There was a couple about the bomb lance as well.
Yeah.
So the audio range, so when you just fire the bomb lance, you won't hear much, but the explosion will give you all the...
Yeah, you definitely hear it.
Compared to like an explosive crossbow in a way.
Yeah, exactly. And to kill the meathead with it, it does not count as a melee kill.
It is super fun. It's like everyone who is looking at it's like, oh my god, that's so cool. So definitely try to shoot as much AI with you as can. Any chance to see rifle with ability to remove the scope? I don't think so because we want it to be a separate choice, right?
Yes.
Yeah. After you check the sound, 2 teams. I don't know anything about that.
There was a question about whether you can reload the Lamats with both compact and shotgun ammo. Yeah, that's true. So both of these ammo packs were for each of the different pools it has.
Can you throw the bomb lines with Tomahawk perk? No.
No, you can't.
No.
That's actually a good idea, though. Huh?
Yeah.
Well,
but then again,
let's just take a note and then we'll see what happens.
Let me see. About to buy the game for the first time, what can we expect to help newcomers? Well, actually, today we mentioned we are working on more onboarding. We already have some onboarding in place, but we are constantly working on improving that. So.
It's gonna be what I can talk about is basically for 6.0 what is still being worked on, what we will hopefully be able to deliver with 6.0 is that there will be meta onboarding, which means every time you go into a menu for the first time, we'll explain a little bit about what that menu is doing. In addition, we will have the actual in-game hints, so that when you do certain things that we think are important for you to understand, like for example, like aiming, that you can go to ADS by holding pressing shift button, or the first time you go to a clue, like what that means for, or if someone vanishes, like we can put a couple of hints on screen for newcomers that explain a little bit better, like what the next steps will be, what actually is happening around them. And then there will be an option to disable the whole thing, obviously, also.
I like Pedarius. For newcomers, put a note that says you probably won't kill the butcher your first time around. I also saw someone ask about traps, sound traps, where it's like glass, but we have added a trap with this patch where you have a sound trap. So if you place it, it's like a wire trap, and it's got a tripwire, it's called tripwire trap. And if you walk through it, it makes like a lot of noise. So
actually, it's even a flare shooting up. So if you do it in outdoors, like you see like the air going up in the skies,
visibility. So yeah,
it's like so many feedback channels.
Inside it looks awesome, doesn't it?
Let me see. Let's see.
Okay.
It's still rough. Taxis was.
Still jet lagged.
Yeah, not a lot of sleep. I'm sorry. Oh, that just quite quickly want to mention that. So next week we're gonna be at TwitchCon EU with some people where we'll be handing out pins and stuff. So if you're going, definitely find us, send us a tweet or any message anywhere, and we'll definitely arrange some places where you guys can meet people and get some hunt swag.
Yeah.
So
any questions from people who had a chance to be on the test server already, like from the last week, for
yeah,
example?
very
any things you might want to ask about, like mechanics that you've explored, like you've possibly read the patch notes from the last time, the update notes, anything you want us to help clarify, any feedback you would like to pass on, anything that we should respond to.
So someone says in 6.0 there's a loud continuous noise in addition to the red glow included, lets you know when other team is close.
Yes.
This relieves any tension when you don't hear it. It's a bit too much. The red glow alone is better. Any chance of reverting it?
Yeah, well, the opinions kind of go either side there, I guess. So what we did in 5.0 is we added the actual light effect, right? So you would just see the light. Now, then the argument was, rightfully, say, hey, but I can just be sitting next to it, and unless the other guy is coming, we'll see the actual clue being turned. He doesn't know that I'm actually there waiting for him. Well, I might get a warning for it. So in order to kind of alleviate that, to get around that issue, we added the sound. It has a shorter range, so it isn't the same range as for the activation when it goes red, like not 30 meters. So it's the audio is roughly 10 meters or so. You can hear it, but it gives you a chance to kind of before opening that door, you know the clue is inside. The sound will already warn you that you might be staring into the barrel of a shotgun.
Yeah. So it is just to prevent you from walking into a camper.
So in this case, it actually, with adding the audio as a second feedback element in there, it made sure that it can't be as easily exploited and actually does what its purpose is, which is to deter people from camping because they will be giving away.
Yeah. Someone asked if the Concertina also slows bosses.
No, but they do tend to like shred pieces of it as they go through. So you can't just rely on the concertina to be there forever. Like it just takes the butcher a couple of like passes through in order to completely like dismantle that.
And does it still do the same damage?
It does do damage, but I think we tuned it for 5.0 and concertina is way less.
And we staggered them less, but like if they run into concertina, usually AI will stagger back.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh wait, the lamp went on. The foot did it. Let's see. Will the price of the antidote go up now that it lasts the whole game long?
We don't think so, because it doesn't really matter whether it's like 1 minute, 50 minutes, or like the full session. In the end, you still are taking this over another item. You're still not bringing one more vitality shot or one more dynamite stick or one more ammo box now. So it is competing with your choices already. And in this case, it has to be something that people are willing to take, so it can't be too expensive because it already is a very situational item, right? Yeah. So it's most useful if you know you're going to go up against a spider, or if you want to engage a lot of hives. But apart from that, you can't really take that in preparation for maybe someone bringing a poison crossbow, which is very, very edge case.
I like how someone already went, damn, I bought 10 of them. Trust me, we've had this situation before. How many that they bought back in the day, like fatality shots? Like 1,000 or something?
I remember, like, I think it was Failspawn, like 2.7k sabers or something.
Yeah, it was the cavalry sabers that did it, yeah.
I mean, we do have a limit on the inventory anyways, which means you can't buy that many. So if you have the capacity, it doesn't take them away. But obviously, it prevents you from just buying more and more to take advantage of us doing our balancing work.
Thanks, Dennis.
Yeah.
Yes, it does give special ammo too. The new ammo box.
Yeah. So poison crossbow, shot bow shells.
Yeah, but you can only bring one.
On the ammo box, it's not a consumable. They stack. So
you can take the 3. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can take up to 4.
Okay, then there was a question earlier, and my brain thought it was not. What prevents people from bringing 3 ammo boxes and a nitro?
Yeah, nothing. But the question is, do they want to do that? Because they would not bring any vitality shot. They wouldn't.
Don't get any ideas.
Actually, I think this is a very valuable choice, and maybe this is actually something where people might find for crossbows, for the bomb plants, for Nitro Express, that bringing some of that ammunition in your bag actually helps you to kind of offset the chance of otherwise running out and not finding anything. So that for a competitive environment, obviously having to rely on a random ammo drop somewhere is always going to be a bit hard. So now you at least can bring like one additional, like a handful of ammunition, depending on what weapon you have.
Yeah, gotcha. Let's do like 2-3 more questions.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me see.
It's scrolling so fast.
Yeah, I'm checking if there's something we can have.
Wait, there is a special ammo box now? That's a good question. Yes, there is. So the ammo box fills both regular ammunition and special ammunition. And in addition to that new consumable, whenever you find a purple special ammo pack that previously only were resupplying the nitro, you also get the same special ammunition. So you might be able to get like 1 or 2 additional charges for the bomb plants, but if you find one of those, obviously you need to find.
Yes.
Makes sense. Are there more adjustments coming to crows and ducks, or is 6.0 where you want them to be?
Of course, there will be further coming. So we've already adjusted them a little bit now, as you can see. The big adjustments we've done with 5.0, and the ones that we iterated on for 6.0 have been around the horse, the ravens, and the ducks. Mm-hmm. So we still have a couple other things like the dogs and the chicken coos, for example, that haven't been touched yet. So they work like they did before. And we want to just keep on iterating, normalizing, standardizing a little bit more. So there's going to be more changes to them, absolutely.
Gotcha. Someone asked, where are the swords or knives of the assassin based on? How did they come up with that?
Yeah, so it started out, you can see in the first concept, that he had these big metal blades. I know, again, in the blog, Artem mentions that he struggled a bit to see, where are these blades going to go? Where did they come from? Mm-hmm. So then they turn into sort of the assassin stingers. So it kind of the insect theme, and then they come in and out of his arms, basically.
Yeah, so it's part of his body.
Yeah.
It's a pretty intimidating sound.
Yeah. Let me see.
how the hell does the bomb plants ammo fit in those boxes? Well, I think the boxes are big enough for that. Maybe crossbow bolts we could argue, but I think the bomb plants thing actually might be able to fit in there.
Let me see. One more, and then we have another obviously important question that we had earlier. So people think the crows are now easier to avoid. So when it's on test, let us know. Give us feedback if they are exactly indeed easily to avoid, because then we can tune it again.
Yes, it's all about tuning.
The assassin decoy mechanic is pretty cool, but doesn't seem to happen very often. Can we see that increased? Well, obviously, if it's on test, we can have more feedback on that. So definitely give us all the feedback on that. So speaking of test, when is it going live? Or is it live right now?
I think it actually should be live by now, right?
Yeah,
Has he already hit the button?
Yeah, I think we already hit the button.
already hit the button.
Yeah.
So you guys should go play right now on the test server. Test out the assassin, test out the bomb blast, test out the Lamette, the Labelle, all the new weapons, test out the birds. And let us know what you guys think on our Discord, on Steam, or on Reddit, or whatever platform you prefer, Twitter, Facebook, and then we're very curious what you guys will think.
Give us feedback.
Play with the bomb lens. I personally, it's super fun.
But also use other equipment against the boss, not just the bomb plants, as much as you might love it.
Yes.
It's a very interesting new boss, has lots of depth in it, and it's a lot of fun to play.
Yes. So we hope you guys enjoyed the test server and have a good rest of your evening.
Enjoy. All right, enjoy.
Just
See you guys.
go again.
She obviously runs ahead.
We need to do like the old school like smile.
Yeah, I want to play.
Yeah. Ciao.